We have a team, Raise Your Weapon, going up against team UGG or UGG. Both teams currently 0-3 in pool play.
That's unfortunate, but this should be an interesting match.
This should be an interesting match. I'm really hoping, to see something unorthodox from these teams. Both they are playing for something. What that is, we haven't announced yet, but this should be an interesting match. Maybe we'll see some troll picks and bans. Maybe these guys are gonna go super serious. Maybe get a little dignity under their belt. The thing is, one team has somewhat of an advantage. They can kind of look over here and see these guys.
Screen looking a bit.
So I'm actually under the opinion that these guys could rock paper scissors for the win. Like do a little maybe Dance Dance Revolution. League of Legends. We were overhearing this and thinking like, do we really want to play League of Legends at this point? Maybe some Halo.
Oh yeah, Halo for sure. 4v4s, 5v5s, whatever.
But the bans so far, we're looking at Warwick, Ari, Shaco, Riven. Pretty standard bans.
Oh yeah. And no troll picks yet. No troll bans.
Is there any one champion you fear right now? Just kind of in the out of all the champions, like no one's quite figured them out yet, or like if you're going into mid or top, is there something that's just kind of, God, I really don't want to play. I should just ban her every time.
I mean, or Lulu would probably be the biggest one right now. Lulu mid is pretty overpowered in my opinion, but
is it because people haven't figured it out yet and they just don't understand the matchups, or is it something else? Like you think her kit's just really strong?
It's probably a little bit of both. I'd say mostly the fact that she's too strong as a whole, like as a kit, but it probably does have to do with that she's a little new and people don't know what to play against her. But I still think she's a bit overpowered. Needs some tweaks.
Now, was it Dignitas that kind of brought her to the spotlight?
Yeah, I think it was Dignitas.
And they were over in Hanover, and they kind of blew their wad, so to speak, because they played in the first 2 rounds. They ended up going into the, making it past day 1, went into the semis, and they were just getting banned out.
Yeah, they probably should have saved it until they made it a little further.
Now I think they were talking about like, is it just because maybe they were too focused on this new strategy that they maybe weren't comfortable playing a standard meta, or, I mean, honestly I don't know, because I don't know the mindset of a pro player, and you've actually done some pro and or semi-pro other games in particular. What goes into that mindset?
I'm gonna say maybe they were thinking that they could play it, people ban it out the next time, and then they try a new comp or they're stronger champions. Maybe they were just playing it so that the other teams were forced to ban it, and then they could play whatever champions they wanted. Also, it could just be that they weren't really thinking clearly, or they assumed that the other teams would not ban it just because they're like, oh, it's Lulu. No one's gonna play her mid that much. No one's gonna do well with her. Maybe it was just a mistake.
Or a fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
now in your travels, are there some memorable professional players that you've come up against, or some events where you're like, you've maybe competed at or near the pro level, and you're thinking like, this was the most amazing event, and I can't wait to get back to this. Do you see a future for you, or do you see somewhere in the future where you might make it back to that level? Like, tell us a little bit more about yourself, because this game's going to happen no matter what, but it's very rare we get a chance to interview, the great Kebam.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know, I haven't been playing much in Season 2. Season 1 I was really into this game, but Season 2 I've kind of stopped playing mostly. I still love Amumu, but there's other games out. There's Diablo 3 coming out. There's Dota 2. You name it. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna come back. I'll play in big events like PAX and Seattle Versus and any local events, but other than that, even online tournaments I don't play in much anymore. So
what has caused you to be maybe like not as into it, I guess? Because it sounds like you have somewhat of that skill set to go more of a professional, to go the route of a professional gamer. You've you've had some successes locally, probably online against some of the professional teams. Is there something holding you back specifically, or is it just maybe just not in your best interest?
I think it was mostly because I've been in the situation of, playing at the pro level or semi-pro level or whatever, and trying to do that in League of Legends. For the big team that I had, most people wouldn't show up for tournaments or events or whatever, and it just got stressful. People would play bad, and I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of done with trying to arrange this team or lead this team, so kind of just angered me a little bit, and I stopped playing.
So, but is there anything that would bring you back? Like, what if you could find a consistent team? Like, we joke about you being Otter's #1 fanboy, but Otter's is a sick player. He's really strong. He's he's been close to the top 50, our front page on the North American ladder. I know he's playing with some other guys online competitively, but locally he's always been a part of your team and your structure. Why having that core? Is there some way to build upon that? Like, is there a way to maybe find 3 more? Do you maybe? It's obviously hard to say, yeah, we're good. You can always say, yeah, we're good enough and we've competed. But what, have you ever looked at back and said, man, this is what's really holding us back, and if we had this, we could move forward?
I think it's a lot of things that are holding us back. One would probably be, both me and Otter are not super wanting to play this super seriously. Like, Otter's always playing custom games, playing in-houses, or just joking around a lot, and same with me. We're not as serious about the game. We're not practicing 10 hours a day together or whatever it is. We just come to local events to have some fun and enjoy League of Legends,
Okay, so what about Dota 2? Is there something? Is there going to be a game that comes down the road that is serious for you? Because I kind of see myself in you a little bit, or at least where I used to be. In my younger days, I found myself to be competitive, and I've seen you want to be competitive, and I understand that you have this drive to be competitive. Are you going to be satisfied if there isn't that next step? There isn't something that draws you in to be competitive. Or are you like what's going to make you get that drive? Because we've got a lot of players. We're going to have fans. Like, granted, you don't have any fans listening right now, but I don't get that opportunity to interview. Well, yeah, there's Marnold, who actually went ahead and created a Smurf called Marnold. So
that's awesome.
But this is real. This is real talk. We've killed 4 or 5 minutes talking about this, and I find it to be important. And this match is also going to be important, and we're going to cast this match. We're going to get to this. So if you tuned in just for this match, don't worry. We're going to bring you this match. But it's rare to actually get heart with a semi-pro, because a lot of players want to take it to the next level. I would say you've gotten there at some point, and you maybe stagnated a little bit. There's definitely another level on top of that, where people play at the pro level, but they just haven't gone pro. I think that's kind of where Otter's at. I know
I would agree.
He dinks around a little bit, but he understands he could play on a pro team.
Absolutely.
Maybe if he got serious. And I don't know what it would take to get serious. And it's cool that we're able to find that type of talent here in the Northwest.
Oh, yeah.
Because, honestly, I look at that and say, back when we started Raise Your Weapon, we said, does that talent exist? I didn't know Otter back then. I didn't know you. I thought Hank was the best thing in Pacific Northwest. And come on, let's be real. Hank's a troll.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, just kidding, Hank. I know you're not watching, but you're a troll. But I've met you guys. I run into you guys. I think the first time I met you, you were crushing Hank at a GameClux event.
Oh yeah.
Texie was then around back then. I think you had the Twins on your team back then, and you were raging at the Twins.
Oh yeah.
Twins have turned out to be pretty good players, but they got college coming down the pipe. They've improved, but they got college coming up. Then they're not going to be able to get real serious.
That's true.
So what's it going to take? Like what would it take for you to go pro, or is that just not something you can not something in your?
I always try to be competitive. I play my heart out no matter what the game is.
You probably hate to lose. That's probably a true statement.
I do hate to lose.
But what would it take? I'm looking over here earlier, and I got a chance to talk to Jason, Dark Terrors. He's probably at that pro level, in a sense. He's
quite talented,
competitive in that sense. He's talented enough. I don't know. Does he have interest in going pro? Like, there is some talent here in the Northwest. Do you have some advice for players? Would you be interested in putting together a serious team, or is that kind of you've done it, it's come, it's gone, you're just gonna enjoy it competitively?
I think it's gonna be whatever happens in the next 2 months, whether Diablo 3 kicks off and is a big game, or whether I feel like playing League of Legends a little more. I'm definitely gonna look for a serious team for Halo 4 because that's more my game than League. But
okay, well, thanks again for that conversation.
Absolutely.
I actually kind of appreciate that because I wanted to learn more about that, just being in the space. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this over here just to make sure we bring the best frame rate possible. We are casting Raise Your Weapon versus Team UGG. This is one for the ages, in a sense. Both teams not doing so well. I'm hoping they still had a good time at this event. We do get to see TK Rain on Shin. He's been bot lane for every game, but this time he's probably going to go top as Shin. Pato playing his favorite champion, Janna. We're going to see Win mid on... we're going to see Win on Lee Sin in the jungle running Exhaust and Smite, so he's going to probably be aggressive. And we're going to see Antran on Brand and the Swift One going bot lane Sivir. Now, inside sources tell me that Swift One has been able to study the game a little bit more. He's been able to get more practice now that he hasn't been taking that many classes. His classes have finished. He does attend the UW, and he's not improved just in top lane, but he's also improved in other lanes. And actually, bot lane AD, he's been looking pretty good. Callan actually had a chance to participate and play with him, so that's what Callan was able to tell me. Looking at the other team, who's actually they're kind of like doing the same thing to each other. They're both kind of invading that red area. The blue team a little bit faster on moving around, but I think if these two were to meet up in the jungle, I would have to give the advantage to.
Minions have spawned.
I mean, I guess Shadow Dash, but honestly, it'd be scary again. I mean, I think they'd probably just meet each other. Whoever got walked into a bush might be screwed. But looking at this team comp, what do you think?
Seems pretty even. I'd probably give it to blue just because they got a little more of the AoE spells.
And Lee Sin's gonna get caught here. Brandon's gonna get the leash. Here's gonna be the exhaust. Win actually gonna get. I'm not sure what held him in place. He didn't have it. Oh, the Taric stun. Taric, that sneaky bastard, does get the stun off. And looks like Win's gonna go down. And it looks like Mundo's gonna pick up red here. Now you played Mundo earlier. You think he's a top tier? Like, I mean, as a jungler to jungler, because we both jungle.
I think he could be god tier right now.
I could not agree more. I think just based on the speed and I mean, Shyvana was god tier and brought into the limelight during Kiev. Because of the whole counter jungling, it brought coordination to a different level, and the fact that you could have the speed clear and go into the enemy jungle, and you didn't even have to gank a lane. You could just take the enemy jungle, and just win by just staying ahead, and then eventually get to team fighting. Now Mundo, he has that same ability to clear in terms of speed, but he's also got gank ability in the terms of an infective cleaver.
Absolutely.
And actually, Antran is going to be in trouble here. I think his flash was still up. He is going to flash, and the cleaver's going to land. Is there an ignite for him? No, the auto attacks won't be enough. Mundo's going to eat a turret, and it looks like if we take a look at the summoners, both flashes were burnt here in mid, but excellent gank. I mean, that's what you want from I mean, if you can get the kill, that's great, right? That's the best result. But being able to walk in there and force a summoner flash, it just means you can come back at a later date and probably finish the finish the deal. But kind of talking about Mundo and why he's so god tier. Is there anything else I mean, you played him early and I gave you crap. I just said, well, you weren't that great of a Mundo. You just bought Warmogs, and with the Oracle you didn't die and just clear wards. Now I was trolling you a little bit because that actually does bring a lot of that brings your team, and that brings you something to your team, right? That brings you map control, and map control can win games. What else, makes Mundo so god tier, in your opinion?
I think the fact that he has so much sustain through his ultimate and his passive health regen that Shyvana doesn't have nearly that. So she can clear, she can gank averagely, and Mundo can gank a little better than her. But then he also has that health regen and that ultimate, so he doesn't have to base like Shyvana would.
So while we were talking about and I agree, by the way, I think that passive health sustain, and we did miss that kill top. Might be a trade here, but no, I actually like Olaf against Shen. I think he's going to be maxing Reckless Swing, which he is, and pretty good job here with Olaf going against Shen. Typically, you should ban Shen. In this case, Olaf was not a ban, and it looks like they went for a counter pick on Olaf or Shen. I actually like Udyr against Shen in that matchup. I think honestly Shin should just be banned unless people have confirmed strong matchups. Because even though Shin can lose a little bit early, he can still be that threat mid to late game. You know, just because it's global.
Yeah.
And I know on the public test realm they were talking about nerfing Shin's ult.
Probably not going to happen, at least not this patch.
Yeah, and they confirmed it's not going to be, but the fact that they're testing it makes me believe that they want to do something about it. So we're going to have another aggressive bot lane exchange. Swift One did pick up a kill earlier with the Boomerang Blade, and right now they're focusing a lot on the Swift One. Tarek Stone is not up in time. Graves is not going to be able to complete the kill here. They really want this. The ward just missing the bush. I don't believe that ward made it into the bush. We're gonna check the Fog of War here in a second. If we can get the actually, I think it is in the bush. It was close. Okay. Confirmation from the enemy team says that ward's not in the bush. Or from the Irish to drop the ward, and we're gonna get a double kill in mid. Brand picking up a kill with an ignite and also landing the kills. I think his ult did a lot of damage there. No, actually he didn't use his ult at all. It's still up. And we're going to actually see another exchange here, and TK Rain's going to come back. He may have given up that kill. The problem is Olaf didn't go back and buy. So Shin, he did die, but he came back to lane with a health crystal, so it's going to increase the damage on his passive, and with the pots, able to basically fight Olaf 1v1 and get a revenge kill, if you would say. Bot lane dynamics. I mean, we're gonna, instead of actually casting this game, we're gonna kind of pseudo cast. But let's talk a little bit about dynamics. Let's help players get better, right?
All right.
This isn't like a first place match. This isn't like the top tier teams going against one another. This is two teams that maybe didn't have the best of luck. What can they be doing better? What's gonna help them? Like, let's point some things out, because I think this would be helpful if people were to go back and watch. Why would you want to watch a replay of two losing teams that aren't really competing for anything? Especially if they're not trolling one another, because it doesn't look like there's any sort of trolling going on.
No.
What can these two teams be doing? Mechanically or fundamentally better. What, in your opinion? I mean, if you see anything, just point it out. I mean, granted, this ward didn't make it in the bush. That one's obvious. But I mean, talk to, and maybe it's last hitting, maybe it's map awareness, maybe it's coordinating ganks. Like here you have Shin coming in. Like if you notice anything, just spit it out there, because you are a smart player. You're a smart captain. I mean, you don't have like the 2400 elo that other players may have, but you sit around the 1800 elo range and you play competitively against any 2K, any 2300 players. So any insight you have will be great.
Biggest issue I'd say is it seems like blue on the bot lane is constantly throwing the minions into tower, and purple has no response to that until right now, obviously. But I think they had just backed, and that's why the minions are being pushed. Neither one is freezing the lane, although it looks like blue is doing that right now. But the biggest issue is blue just kept throwing it into tower, and no one had gank for him, so they were able to do that and probably had a couple CS on it.
And we're probably going to miss a couple kills where we're talking about mechanics. That's okay. We'll come back and cover those later. We're not here to catch every kill. Plus, if we have another ward going down. This one in the bush this time. Alright, maybe we should have turned up here and looked at these kills. But it looks like we're seeing a lot of aggressive play between Brand, Shin, and Lee Sin. You've got a lot of CC. You've got a lot of bursts. It looks like Mundo is behind. Mundo is not 6 yet. So something went wrong. If you're not 6 by... well, 7 or 8 minutes, especially by 8.5 minutes, you're probably doing something wrong in the jungle, I would say.
That's true.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just something went wrong, and you probably want to look. If you could go back and watch a replay, or even watch this match, you probably would want to go back and find out what went wrong exactly. There's actually a lot of aggression going on here, and the Shin all going to come down. Being aware that Shin is in the game means you should probably never take a batting game. Never. And that Janel under turret gets exhausted and gets her face blown off by Graves' ult. I do love ults. I do love it when Graves lands the collateral damage. Like, I love those kills because of the way the animation works. It just looks like they get blown to smithereens. So thanks, Pato, for letting that happen. We appreciate it. That's something we talked about before, and I do enjoy a good kill with Graves' ult. So we're actually going to see a teleport here. Xerath coming down. The spell shield is going to block the mage chains, so the stun's not going to go off. Kind of made popular by Galio teleport. It's been, you know, a pretty typical, like, you know, why would you take teleport on a mid lane? Typically good on Galio when you want to, like, maybe get aggressive teleports on bot lane. I would say it's good when you can have a pink ward in that bush. But right now, they're kind of not in a position to exchange. Graves will dodge that boomerang blade, but Mundo's coming in. He is 6. He could chase here, but I think they're going to back up because actually, I don't know if they don't think they had vision of Lee Sin, but if they had committed, Lee Sin would have been in trouble. Or sorry, Mundo would have been in trouble. Purple team would have been in trouble.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, just continue to watch here. Is there anything that like just like what are some things players could do better? And whether it's warding, small stuff, big stuff. I mean, your thoughts. I'm talking a lot here, so go ahead.
Yeah, the wards are pretty limited. It looks like 2 for blue team, 1 for purple, and that's just...
Yeah, I mean, blue's got a ward here they just dropped. They've got dragon ward. Jaina had a couple wards in this bush down bot, no longer there, and it looks like the only ward top lane is Olaf's. So, in terms of warding...
3 wards on the map, I think, total. And that's there should be 3 in 1 lane, basically. I mean, bot should maybe ward try as well, so that they can't do a jungle gank. Mid should definitely ward one of his sides, which Xerath just put down one.
Okay. Now, and when it comes to mid lane warding, I'm a big advocate of if you can ward this area right here and ward the enemy race, and if I'm your jungler, I'm gonna ward the other one. Like, I've had Boscow's on your team right now. Yeah. And I've played with Boscow in many games, and I remember just constantly like, Boscow, please just buy a ward, please, just anytime you go back, buy one. And I promise you, if you ward this area, whichever, or if you want, oops, map control fail. If you ward this area, I will ward the other one. Like, it's just kind of like a 50-50 deal, 2 for 1. You buy one, I'll buy the other. And I think that from watching a lot of pro players, from watching even not so pro players, just being able to have that map awareness, the extra vision, I think it should be standard.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you agree? Do you disagree? What's more important for you in terms of wards?
I mean, I definitely agree. That sounds perfect. As you can see, Xerath has both sides warded now, and Brand does not. So even though Brand is winning the lane and isn't pushed up, I still feel like if Mundo wasn't so far behind in the jungle, that he would get ganked a bunch. So we actually see some pretty good play here. Landed the pillar. I can't remember the actual pillar's name. Pillar of Flame. And we actually have a kill bot lane. Silver getting taken out by a Mundo gank. Must have came through lane because, and as you said, there's no wards here from the blue side. They either probably just faded because they took Dragon. Yeah. So once Dragon was gone, they assumed the advantage was gone. Antran coming in with the help of Shin. Not going to be enough damage. Mundo will probably go down here. He's got Ignite on him. Alt won't save him. And we're going to see these 3 players, these 3 best friends. The Brand, Lee Sin, Shin, like, constantly just a lot of aggression here in mid lane. I don't know what happened with Olaf that was basically allowing Shin to get out of control, because that's kind of what happened. He did get that early kill, but it looks like he started playing passively. Just looking here at some creep stats, he's at 58. Shin's actually at 63, and Shin's left his lane twice. Yeah. So, it's for those players. I would probably say, for me, I've played a lot of top lane, but I don't consider myself a master at it by no means. Like, I'm not that good because I still don't understand all the exchanges that can go down, or winning exchanges. Or who trumps who, and it looks like we're probably going to see Olaf go down again. Nope. Got really close. You play Teemo top, right? Or you're an advocate of Teemo? I love Teemo, yes.
I mean most people make fun of Teemo. Most people have been in that situation when players play Teemo and they're not very good. Teemo good for counter-picking top, but I think I've seen you play Teemo top under bad matches. Another kill going down here. This time we've got a double buff Leaf Sin. He's going to be able to perma-slow this as Tarek, but Graves probably should not have come in, but he may have baited into Mundo. Nice juke over the wall, but Lee Sin says, I'm going to finish this. Does get the resonating strike for the kill, or actually the Sonic Wave got the kill. The resonating strike finishing off Tarek. And Brand actually taking out Mundo. Is that what happened here? But these guys just playing really aggressive. A lot of kills now. I think we're at about 16 kills within 15 minutes. I like this kill per minute. Keeps us in action. Got Olaf trying to trade with Shin here. The Ignite did go down, but honestly, you know, Olaf's 2 levels behind. Even though he does have Reckless Swing maxed. So he's doing you know, 340 true damage. That's quite a bit of a nuke, right? If you think about it. Problem is, you still have to get into the auto attack range to complete that damage. And you know, honestly, like Olaf, you can land the axe. I think it's yeah, Undertow, but I mean, I don't really like Olaf so much. Like, I think he has his place. I'm just not the biggest fan of Olaf. What are your thoughts on Olaf?
I think he can play a good anti-carry because he's a strong top laner and no one can stop him from getting to your carry because he just ults and runs at him. He's still pretty strong late game. He doesn't fade out at all. So if you can lane him well, he's a strong champion. But against a Shen's a really strong pick these days. So Graves actually just making Sever his, what's a good word for the word I'm trying to say? He's not doing so well. But every time they do get that engagement, it looks like Lee Sin's in the area, so Lee Sin actually might get a chance to clean up here. He did get the crippling blow on down and missed the resonating strike, but Shin's gonna come in. Best friend Shin teleporting in. Shin wants a piece of this pie. I don't know if pie is the right word here. We have 4-man gank on bot lane. When you see this happening, you should probably be pushing top. Tarek will go down. These guys will probably get this turret, if anything, or at least shove some creeps into the turret. The dragon is also up, so they'll probably get a free dragon out of this. 4-man ganks aren't typical, except maybe when dragon is up, you would say. I mean, when would you want to commit this amount of resources to a gank? Like, I guess, is it only, you would only commit this maybe when dragon is up? Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, if you know, why does this happen when you have 5 people in bot lane? I think they timed it pretty well because, like you said, dragon was up then. I was hoping they'd pick up 2 kills around tower and not let that Graves go, but they had some issues with tanking the turret, so they had to back out a little early, and that was probably their biggest fail with the gank. They still picked up a kill and dragon and did not lose top tower somehow, so it's a win.
Now, alright, well, here's something we can talk about. Team compositions. You know, there's the AoE centric, there's the player favorite champion, there's the kite poke. You know, what do you, I mean, you're an Amumu player, so you probably like AoE style composition.
Best, yeah.
You know, we have a lot of action here. Sivir picking up a revenge kill, and Tarek actually completing the kill on Graves. So we're gonna see a support battle. Here we go. Tarek versus Jano. Tarek with red buff. Jano with the range attack at 2 levels. Come on, Jano, get in there. What are you doing? Oh, you got this. And meanwhile, oh, a more boring fight's going down with Brand picking up a kill on Xerath and possibly a kill on Mundo. Mundo missing his infected cleaver. Does his result, but it's only level 1. Meanwhile, Brand is actually 4 levels ahead of Mundo. I don't think this is a fight he wants. He does realize Brand's somewhat out of mana. I want to go back to the support fight. Let's go, Jana. Jano rocking Heart of Gold and Shirley's Reverie. And yeah, I think that's... And Tarek rocking the red buff. Still got his 2 gold per 10 items. He's probably defensive master. So there's a stun going to go down on Lee Sin. You know, this is a 3v2 fight. Probably not something you want, especially since Sivir's back in lane. Tarek may have just cost a kill, but we have a teleport coming in from Xerath. Xerath is not in range to hit Mage Chains. They are going to try and plant. Jaina should have her all. Oh, Xerath taking a ton of damage from Sivir. Shin missing taunt, but they're probably still going to pick up Graves. We're going to watch Sivir get a double kill, and there goes Graves. He's going to get picked up by Sivir. He did get a chance to pop his ult. Unfortunately, no one died. 3 for none. There's just a lot of kills going down here, and we're going to see another steal. So this game's quickly have gotten out of control, which is going to mean we get to talk more about stuff that doesn't happen in League of Legends like this. Going back to team compositions, you know, what is, like, in this current format, if you could pick any 5 champions, well, I mean, that's probably a poor question because you probably want to figure out what the other enemy's playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, we could almost do a mock draft. I think that would be interesting, just like on paper type thing, but until you actually play it. Looks like Olaf will pick up a kill here on Brand. He's going to get a shutdown that we all get to see in these big new letters. I've been saying that a lot, I think mainly because it's appearing in front of my face. I mean, I like the idea that it's being a kill streak ender. Yeah, it's hard because I do want to pick your brain like during that whole draft process. Maybe that's something we could set up for like maybe a podcast or something. Or I mean, because I mean, every time you watch 2 teams, if you've ever watched a spectate or a tournament being cast, and you'll get the casters talking about the picks and the bans and what these guys play, but like most of these casters aren't players. They don't play the game, they just watch the players play the game. So they don't necessarily know what's going through their head, and so by having, you know, you sit here and watch this game a little bit, I can ask you those things. I mean, I guess it probably does come down to what's being picked, you know, what your players play, what they feel comfortable. Do you think you'll ever see a point in League of Legends or even Dota where everybody plays everybody and it's just going to come down to like picking the best champs? Or do you think that the game is so big and it changes so often that that doesn't happen?
I think it won't happen mostly because they're still releasing a champion every 2 weeks, and while that's really interesting and you're always looking forward to playing a new champion and everything, it's going to make the game impossible to balance, because then you have to balance with that new champion and with all the stuff that that champion brings to the game, whether it's Lulu's sheep or Lulu's, you know, increase in size, or, you know, whatever. Orianna, when she first came out, was just amazing. The fact that she could use her ball and not even be in the fight to kill everyone on the team kind of baffled the game, and no one knew what to do about it.
Now, I like that aspect of the game.
I do too.
I like I mean, I think that's what keeps me playing League of Legends more than any other game. I guess Dota would probably be the same thing, assuming that once they complete the Dota 2 release, that they'll probably continue to release new heroes in Dota.
They have been for a while.
I mean, I know when I quit playing the original Dota, there was probably 100 or so, and now I've seen some champion or heroes in Dota 2. I'm like, I don't remember this guy. Who is he? Like, but you know, most of the champion lineup. TK Rain is going unstoppable. And we did follow all that action just by double kicking one of the champions. It was great. It was like the game was casting itself. It's kind of like the new spectator mode that's going to come out. If you've played Dota 2,
yeah.
And you've gone and like while you're waiting in queue, because the queues are kind of long sometimes, and you're waiting in queue, you can actually go spectate in a game. They can have up to 400 spectators, which is really cool. And it sounds like that's where League of Legends is going in the next patch.
Yes.
But it's got a. If you've ever just left the camera and let it direct itself, it's pretty cool. It pops around. It's not, as a caster, I was like, this is terrible. Like, I want action that's over here, and I like the camera constantly moves. So I don't think that's something you'll see from professional casting. But, you know, in a sense where you just want to sit there and kind of let it hop around, and so you don't miss a kill. Because, let's be honest, I probably missed about 5 or 6 kills this game. And I wasn't trying to miss those, but I knew I missed them. Earlier today, I probably missed 5 or 6 kills when I wasn't trying to miss kills. So maybe that new spectator feature will help me become better at this map control spectating. We will see. I know I'm not the best in terms of map control. Honestly, I get to let Callan handle all that, because he is the best caster in the Pacific Northwest, because he does handle, you know, the own map control. He's working on getting a headset. Gives him more of a hands-free approach, so he can become even better. So we can't really talk about team comps because as much as I'd love to find out your thought process in that pick champion select,
just pick a Mumu every game.
Just pick a Mumu.
You can't lose, not if you know how to play him.
I mean, I think League of Legends can be great enough that like it's gonna stick around for a while. I mean, but again, it's the whole game genre is volatile. Dota was the inception. It was kind of only popular in the Asian culture. I mean, it really wasn't that popular stateside. If you look at the original Dota 2 Invitational, we had what, like 12, 15 teams, or there's like 16 teams, and there was not one from the States.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I think we've got 2 or 3 state teams, or potentially. Complexity, which originally was Team Fire. Do you know Chappie, by the way? Brian Chapman?
I don't think so, no.
He's actually Hank's roommate.
Oh, okay, yeah, he manages Complexity, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like a team manager for Complexity. But, you know, he played a lot of Han, he played a lot of Dota. He dabbled in League of Legends. It just wasn't his thing. You know, I think there's a lot to be said between the two games. I don't think one's necessarily one better than the other. I actually think at this point, you know, Riot's done such a good job creating a community and a game that's so different from Dota that they are two different games. I mean, yes, there's one map. Yes, it's 5v5.
Yeah.
But like, I feel different things from playing these games. Like, when I'm playing Dota 2, I'm actually more engaged. Although I don't know how to play it competitively. I feel differently. I feel like it's brand new, and maybe that's the case. It's just new and unique, and just so many kills going on in this game. Everybody just diving under turrets. TK Rain is dominating. Olaf running in. Would like to see like a Graves alt pentakill. That'd be the coolest thing ever. I don't even know if it's possible. Just so many kills. We're now at 41 kills in the 27-minute mark. This is definitely interesting. But yeah, you know, I don't know where Dota 2 is going to be 6 months from now. League of Legends, I feel, is still going to be popular 6 months from now.
I would agree.
That's why when we were talking earlier about, you know, where do you see yourself? Because like I said, I mean, what about some of these players that, you know, what about some of these players here in the Northwest that consider themselves like would like to go semi-professional? You haven't like, what's the best advice you can give them? Or I say semi-professional because I feel like you have to like advance. It's not all of a sudden you're a pro player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't know, keep playing, but always try to improve. You can't just play to play. It's got to be playing to understand how you play and watching what you do wrong and what you do correctly and trying to repeat the things you do correctly. I mean, learn basic strategy, understand how other players play, and you can try to juke them or play better than them. Think of the next thing, like, oh, I'm going to place a pink ward at this spot because I know people always ward there. I mean, you know, something small like that is just helpful. It makes you a better player because you can beat people that are normally placing a green ward there or something. I don't know. Right, and that could open up opportunities. Like, absolutely. I know lately I've, you know, solo queue, there's this whole talk about solo queue, like, you know, there's elo hell, or, you know, it's not competitive because you're playing with a bunch of randos. But still, there's still something to be said about solo queue. I think a lot of players that play it at the high level, they say, well, the only thing to gain from it is just getting, you know, is mechanically it can make you a better player because you have a chance to practice and play without a full team. Because honestly, getting 5 people together and play consistently is hard, right? Oh, yeah. You've probably had that problem. I've had that problem. There's a lot of action going down. Nice Janna ult. She's gonna eat a mage chains and a buckshot, but the Shin ult coming in on Janna. On Janna. Of all people. Best friends. That's what we're talking. We're calling Shin right now. A lot of action here. A lot of killing. These guys probably could go grab Baron but I think they're just gonna push with this creep wave and then maybe rotate over to that naked inhibitor. So consistently, always play. Just consistently play and play to get better.
Think about the small things, such as whether it's placing a pink ward, like looking for patterns, maybe finding out, because players are always going to have patterns. They're always going to do something one way,
Absolutely.
and so you're going to try and find out how to exploit that or expose that. I know every time I lose, like I hate losing, but I always feel like there's something to gain from losing.
Yeah. You gotta learn from your mistakes.
If you win all the time, then all right, well you should just go on and be pro. But I think my advice I would have for players is that, like, don't get discouraged from a loss. Both these teams came out here, and they didn't do the best, right? They're not 3-0. They're not gonna advance to the finals. But I feel like there is something to be gained from these games. I mean, go back and watching these games. Like I know it's discouraging, and I feel like the problem with this genre, League of Legends specifically, and Dota, is that a 50-minute game you get invested in mentally, right? You're like, mentally we win or lose, but we're invested for at least 50 minutes. Unlike a fighting game console or a first-person shooting like Call of Duty or whatever, like you can pick that game up, win or lose. It's going to be over in like minutes.
Yeah, 10,
maybe
15.
10, 15 minutes. Just win, done. Okay, we lost. Counter-Strike was probably the first sports, of TK Rain going in there, balls deep. He's going to blow his GA here. What the hell? Oh, I thought his ult channeled through that, but he's going to go down. Here comes the Baron. Here comes the comeback. Only down. I guess these guys are only down 12K, and that Baron's probably going to help them out. We might have a game on our hands. But yeah, like the fact that these players get so heavily invested in a game, win or lose, and then when you lose like a 50-minute game, you're kind of demoralized. And if you come to an event, maybe you played 2 or 3 games, and maybe you're not successful on any of those. It's hard to go back and look at what mistakes you might have made.
That's very true.
I think players can learn from that. I think players, in order to get better, there's 2 things you need to do. 1, recognize it's okay to make mistakes, because every mistake you make is a learning opportunity. You just have to make the effort to learn something from it. So in that case, it's okay to make mistakes. And 2, you're only going to get better playing better players.
Yeah.
So it's funny because those go hand in hand. If you play better players, they're going to beat you, and guess what? You're going to learn from that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's always something to learn. So I definitely agree with you when you say keep playing and always play to get better. I think that's great advice. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And I don't even know if pro players are consistently do that at some level.
Oh yeah.
And there's so much going on right now in this fight. I'm not even going to try to cast that. Although that Graze ult almost took out like 3 or 4 players. So that was kind of cool. Janna, did she flash over the wall? The aggressive Janna play, I really like it. What kind of build is she going? Alright. Oh, she has Ice Mallet. I like this.
Oh my god.
Ice Mallet Janna. There's a little bit of trollness going on. I do like, the right clicking slow. It's kind of like she's like a Sejuani. The taunt's going to go down. TK Rain's going to pick up Beer Pong Champ. I think right now playing a game of Beer Pong sounds awesome. So kudos to that guy for having the best name in the total event. And it looks like this game's going to end here. We're going to finish in about 33, 34 minutes. But well fought. If you did manage to stay and listen to the Kebam interview during this game, because we really didn't cast this match. We talked a little bit, and hopefully you got to watch the match and listen to us talk. I think we did cover a lot of interesting things. Actually, a lot more aggression going on here. I hope some people come back and watch this. I'm going to go back and watch this because I think we actually talked about some really cool things. Maybe write an article or something. But yeah, coming out to these events is a good thing. Yeah. It keeps me to go out and play, right? I could come to this event and I could lose and still have a good time. Would I like to win? Yes. Do I hate losing? Yes. But I think I can still have a good time and I still feel like I can learn something. I can go and talk to these players that have come out here that are better at the game and say, hey, what could I have done better? Like, you and I both jungle, right?
Oh yeah.
You love your Amamu. I've gone through phases. You know, I think, you know, I try to tier whore a little bit, just like I would in a fighting game, maybe. You know, I'll play Udyr or Shyvana. I'm not very good at Mundo, but I think he's god tier. I think I should learn him. Right now, I think Nautilus is really strong. I think if you can pick Nautilus after like a Lee Sin jungle, like if you know they're going Lee Sin jungle or you know they're going Nocturne jungle, I think Nautilus is the best jungler at that point. Against any sort of tanky AP jungler like a Malphite or an Amamu, I think Nautilus is really strong. Most people would say go for why won't you just pick why wouldn't you pick Udyr or Shyvana or Mundo at that point? I mean, you could. I mean, they have this similar matchups, but I think with Nautilus you see a lot of you see like that high tier disruption that I really like, and I think that he brings that added gank ability. Nautilus is my champion right now. I'm not the best at him by no means, and I'm just going to continue to play him. I really like Amamu. You've taught me how to play a better Amamu. So, you know, I think we could, you know, I think if we were to put our head together, we could probably come up with a pretty solid list of junglers and matchups, and I think that's cool, and that's one thing I get from just coming to these types of events, not just casting, not just watching these games, but also getting a chance to play and talk to the players. So we've got even more action going down here. We're now sitting on 58 kills. We need just 2 more to hit 60. Sorry, we need 1 more for 60 total kills in this match, and there we go. Mundo picking up the 60th kill in this match. Congratulations, Mundo. TK Rain's 61st kill, not good enough. And it looks like this Nexus is finally going to go down. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for having an opportunity to come down here and play. Team RaiseYourWeapon will pick up their first win of the tournament. And I think they're going to be happy with it. So yeah, if you did happen to stay in and listen to this talk the whole time, cool, thank you. We appreciate that. I think we did cover some really cool things. Next up will be the finals. You'll definitely see a traditional cast. The finals is going to be between Amamu's Trash, which is led by Captain Kebam, who is here casting with me. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, everybody.
For those that didn't know who that soft-spoken gentleman was, you should come and listen and overhear this guy when he actually is in competitive mode. It's a lot of fun, and if you get a chance to play with him, friend him in the game, especially if you're a Northwest local. He'll make you a better player, I promise you. He's not as soft-spoken though. And then the captain for Team Perplex Gaming is Tatsulo. So we're gonna have those guys flip a coin. We're gonna have them jump into the match. It's a best of 3. It is for first place. There's some cash riding on this for sure. They're both gonna walk away with winnings, so to speak. And stay tuned.